We're here. We're live in the studios of, we're going to call it the podcast for today because the name will be changing. What's going on, fellas? We're here with Gustavo Garcia. So many things you've done in the past. Property manager for over 6 years, real estate agent now for about 3 years, real estate investor as well at a very young age. I think you said you started at 20 years old.
20.
And also a multiple business owner. What's going on, Gus?
Damn, that's a pretty good intro. I like it. It's very, it brings me up, I guess, with a little bit of joy, you know? Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys having me here once again. But yeah, no, thank you for that. I mean, you kind of said it a little bit of what I've been doing with my life for the past couple of years. So, but thank you for having me once again.
Yeah, no problem, man. So I know you started at a really young age. We've known each other for about 10 years now, maybe, if not a little bit less, just around there. And since we were at that age, I think I remember you being the one that was always a little different in regards to like line of work. And at a really young age, you were already looking forward to like what you were gonna do. From what I can remember, you know, you kind of were the successful one from the group of friends that we had. And that goes a long way. We're here now. You own multiple businesses. You've been a real estate agent. You did property management for a while. Safe to say you're a people person. So let's go ahead and dive in. Well, and we got Adrian back in the studio now, back from Mexico with
What's up, guys?
Glad to be back. With a couple cases of food poisoning, but he's back.
Yeah, I made it back alive, so we're good. But yeah, I guess we're excited to have you on for the. I want to say about the third consecutive time, but this one's going to be exciting. And we'll just dive deep a little bit into who you are and what you've been through.
So just to get started real fast, this wasn't in the line of the script, but not like we were scripted. Damn, my TV turned off. Did that really happen?
Yep.
God damn it.
It's all good.
And I kept telling myself I'm going to change the settings on that. Anyway, all right. So where were you, man? What's the reason that you're here today? Like high school, who were you in high school compared to the circle of friends that you had, and why were you different?
Well, obviously, in high school, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate. You kind of remain friends with a really small group of people that you kind of grew up with when it came to high school. So I wasn't popular. I wasn't a really freaking outgoing person, or I wasn't with the more popular group in high school. So I just average kid, barely even made the 2.0. It was at a 2.0 GPA or something like that.
Say that proudly.
Yeah, so I barely made a 2.0 GPA, graduated. I went to college. Funny story about college is the fact that I decided to go to the amazing Bakersfield College. I'm proud that I got admitted into the most prestigious college here in Bakersfield, BC.
Hey, it's actually not a bad school.
I mean, if you're going to go for nursing, I think it's like probably the best nursing programs that they have right here in Bakersfield, right? A lot of people having the wait list for years or something like that. But I went to BC several years. So obviously there's a curse on that. They say that once you go to BC, it's kind of hard to get out of BC. So a lot of people go to BC because it's cheaper, or they can't get into a CSUB, and they have the hopes and dreams to go to a CSUB or to a 4-year college. And then they get trapped in there. They get reeled into BC, and then it's really hard for you to get out of there because just the way that it is. I think CSUB and the 4-year colleges are a little bit faster to get out. They go a lot faster than BC does. So a lot of people get trapped in there. So I got trapped into that. I took business as a major. I think I took some. Not even advertising. It was like
Marketing.
And I didn't graduate from there, but I think my life kind of just took a turn from there when I decided to apply for a job. I was looking for different jobs. I was doing retail at the time, and I went into property management, which is where I spent several years of my life kind of developing myself, my people skills at the time, and with property management. So I didn't even know. Funny story. I didn't even know that I applied for a property management position. So the way that happened was I just got into, I think at the time it was monster.com. I don't know if it was Indeed at the time yet. They merged into
Okay.
So it was monster.com, and I sent my resume to a bunch of different jobs, and they ended up calling me. They said you got an interview. I went out to the interview, and it turns out it was as a leasing agent for a property management company.
Gotcha. So it kind of just landed.
So I kind of just landed there. Yeah, I kind of just landed going to school, working 2 jobs, and
Did you party in college?
well, I mean, I partied.
Not me in general.
I partied in general, so yeah.
No, but I mean, like, did you does BC even have like fraternities and stuff like that, or no?
They're very.
You know what?
they're
I'm not sure if they have fraternities or not. It's a good question.
I know CSUB does, but I didn't know if.
but we went to the CSUB.
Well, of course, yeah, but we did that since high school.
Yeah, true.
No, well, see, here's a good thing. One of the good things you brought up is getting stuck there, right? So, I remember when my sister was going to go to college, she was like, "Well, I'm just going to go local because one is cheaper. You don't have to pay dorms and stuff like that." But I feel like leaving is what makes you finish, right? Because when you stay here, it's easy to go around the sphere of influence that you have, and that influence may not always be positive. Right? So you hang around with the crowd that's partying every weekend or that has a job and they got money, because 9 out of 10 people in college are broke, right?
Yeah.
So you're hanging around with your friends that didn't go to college and making all right money, working whatever they're working. And now it's like, damn, all my friends are buying Jordans and my friends are buying this, and you're stuck buying textbooks. So it's a lot easier to kind of get distracted, right? Or how was it for you? I mean, I know you.
Yeah, just to give my perspective, I feel like for me it was totally different. There is that perspective where it's easy to get trapped, right? Let's say if 50 or 60% of my friends didn't go to college, but that's all who I hanged out with on the weekend, right? It's kind of easy. It's easy to get distracted. But on the contrary, I also know some friends who, went out of Bakersfield, went out of kind of, the county to go to school to study. And, some of them didn't finish. Some of them, found some different influences. Some of them even found some different paths, right? Which is nothing wrong with that. But it's honestly not safe to say that, going out of your county.
Staying or leaving.
Staying or leaving is not going to, stride you for success.
You don't think it would be easier, though, for those that stay to, like, be like, well, fuck it, I have my parents' house? Or, like, that I could just go to, like, if I fail? Versus you're out of town. It's kind of more shaming to fail. You don't think that plays a role at all?
I mean, I can see the impact, but like I said, I feel like
I can see the impact of relying on your parents for college and then they send you away and kind of like, hey, they're putting all this.
Can you get closer to the mic? Like if it was
putting all this money on my career and going to college and sending me away and then not finishing up for them. So I feel like you're kind of letting them down.
See, and then like also again, just to kind of
you can grab it, bro.
Just to grab it with both hands.
You can grab it with both hands if you want to. It's not that delicate.
Hey, no hands.
No hands. Impressive. No, but I think for me, like if because I actually did apply to go, out of state or go to a different school out of Bakersfield, and I did apply, and I think one of the reasons I wanted to go out was to just not be home, right? To have that independence, have that freedom.
That's what I regret, though. Explore. You don't regret not going?
I regret not going for the experience,
That's
not for like the opportunities, because I feel like what I went for here made perfect sense to me at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, I definitely wish I would have gone to LA, go to one of those party schools, because I have some friends that did, and they said they had a good time.
So you're a college failure, you're a college dropout, and you get into property management. Where do you go from there?
So
wait, hold up, Gus, real quick. Did you have like because I know you applied through like this through a website.
Yeah.
But when you got in, did you eventually kind of like find a mentor? Did someone kind of like grab you by the?
Yeah, actually, well, when I did property management at the time, I was doing leasing, so it was just a leasing agent, and I was just filing a bunch of documents into their people's portfolios and apartments, and kind of just being like the file cabinet boy. Then I got into the front desk and I started, talking to people and kind of getting to know the business itself. But I didn't have a mentor at the time. There was a district manager. She ended up quitting, and another guy came and took her position. And he actually was a little sort of like a mentor to me. He kind of took me under his wing. He's the one that kind of gave me promotions. He's the one that kind of saw the potential in me and kind of just moved me up, made me a assistant manager. They made me a property manager, and they made me a multi-property manager. So I was managing different apartment complexes. So he's the one that really believed in me, even at a young age. He was the one that kind of pushed me and kind of made me see things differently and be like, hey, just because you're young, it doesn't mean that you can't do something. There's potential in you. You get along with people. And one of the things that I kind of developed early on is that I connected with people, which is something that it led me to where I am now, that I was able to transition different businesses, and I took what I learned from their communication skills and people skills, and I came over to the real estate, and that was one of the advantages that it gave me now that I have now, which I really appreciate him, and I heard he's doing really well right now. I think he's like a regional director or something like that for a big property management company. So I still talk with them from time to time. But James, if you ever see this podcast, man, shout out to you, James Burris.
Got to send it to him.
Yeah,
Sure, no, definitely, yeah, for sure, definitely. He's a very wise man. He knows, very knowledgeable about every subject you kind of bring up to him, and that's one of the things that kind of make my mind a little bit curious. Like I always wonder how this thing work and why. What's the purpose behind it? So I feel like he kind of made me a little more curious about why. There's always a purpose for everything. So. But yeah, shout outs to him. He's a pretty wise person. So
shout out James, man. Looks like you were in really great hands then.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy podcasting, right? Because me and you we're good friends, as we can say. But I never had the opportunity to just kind of like dive deep right into okay, like why'd you join property management, and then kind of who you were in high school. So I think that's actually pretty cool. So as Edgar's over there.
It's being the IT guy.
IT.
Yeah, he's a host / IT guy.
Yeah. All right. So then, how this next question? How did you get into real estate? Like, where was the outlet for you?
I'm back and better.
There he is. Yeah. So in real estate, in high school, I used to have a teacher. I used to be a senior year. I was like an office aide, and there was an office personnel that was there, and she was. I showed interest on real estate. Obviously, I looked at a lot of successful people. I read, and a lot of people were like, "Real estate's the way to go. This is how you work money." And she showed me an article of, I believe it was some brothers that were doing business here in Kern County, and I got kind of like
some brothers or some brothers.
So they basically, she showed me that article of real estate and stuff like that. So I showed interest at the time that I was in high school. I showed interest in real estate. So early on, I wanted to get into real estate, but I never really took the leap of faith. I never really dove deep into it or looked more into it. It was just like a thought of mine. So as I obviously got into property management, and the opportunity presented itself, I talked to my wife, and I told her, hey, well, I kind of want to do this, and I kind of just put it on the back burner for a while. And she is actually the one that pushed me to do my real estate classes. She's the one that actually, one day I came home and she's like, hey, check your email. I already got your classes for you, so you have to do them now.
She got tired of you being a broke ass.
Yes, yeah. So she got tired of me being broke. So she's like, hey, you gotta go make some fucking money. So yeah, so she's the one that kind of got me into it, and and shout out to her as well. So, she's the one that kind of pushed me. She's like, hey, you have no excuses anymore. The fucking classes are in your fucking email, so get your ass to it.
Get your ass to work.
So a big around our sphere. Mutual friends and stuff. I think for a very long time, ever since you guys got married and engaged and stuff, you guys were probably one of those power couples, as people call, right? Like very successful. Both of you guys make really good income. And you just said now that she's kind of the one that pushed you to take that leap of faith, right? Call it a leap of faith, but sometimes you're not even faithful when you make those leaps. You're just like, I'm gonna make it fucking happen. I'm not gonna hope it does, right? But on that subject, is that like a huge advantage to you that like your wife can hold you up and take your back, like hold your hold it down in case you fail, or does it ever play as a disadvantage?
Having a person, and one of the things that kind of attracted to me at the first time that we actually took it, when we were first attracted, obviously, her drive was just something that caught my attention. Her motivation and her wanting to become someone in life was one of the things that kind of just it stood out from her. So
did that rub off on you, or were you already?
I was already kind of driven a little bit because so I was already kind of driven like that, and that's the same thing that if you can ask her as well, she would say the same thing about me, and it was kind of like both of us, like damn, she's kind of like me, like she's outgoing, she's out driven, she wants to be somebody in life, she has goals, she wants to build an empire, and she saw the same thing in me. So I think that we both kind of just complemented each other, and we are now kind of building up on that initially that we, how we first came, became a couple. And now, even now, she still pushes me, and that's just an amazing thing for me. And I remember last time we were kind of talking on the car, and it kind of brought me back to this conversation. She's like, "Hey, Gus, not a little advice, but like, what is it that you look for?" And I think that you always have to look for a person or a partner that kind of pushes you to become better. Not someone that's going to hold you back or become an anchor or become like, "Hey, why are you trying to do this? Well, we could just live right here," whatever the case, whatever your scenario might be. But somebody that just has the same ambitions and the same view as you, I think that's a big plus. And me and her have the same views, have the same ambitions. We want to become very successful. And for her pushing me, as the way she's been pushing me, that I've been pushing her as well. It's just amazing to have.
I love to preach on that, man. I think your significant other being on the same page as you, if not on a better page than you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, fuck looks, attractiveness and stuff like that. It goes away. You hardly see an 85-year-old. Excuse me, that's like freaking hot. They're like, damn, look at that bomb ass 85-year-old, right? But you see a bunch of rich ones.
Look at that bomb ass grandpa.
But you see those rich ones, right? And they didn't get rich by looking good. Well, now with OnlyFans and stuff, who knows, right? but you get what I'm saying with that, is that like the drive is very important, and I think the older you get, the more you realize that, right? Yeah. I think out of college or even 20, 22 years old, you're just looking for the attractive ones, for one reason or the other. But with that being said, now, how or does it ever play into a disadvantage, like that she is that powerful in regards to because again, this can mean different to different people, but money drives power. Well, influences power, influences. I lost my train of thought. But point being is that she makes a good income. You make a good income, right? Yes. And so I've heard in other times where like it can also be a conflict, right? Like,
not much of a conflict, but there's more of like, I told you, we're kind of alike in a sense, and it's more of like sometimes we clash. Sometimes it's more of like, how can I say it? Like, we have very driven personalities. So
is it an ego thing?
I believe sometimes it might be an ego thing.
Mutually, right?
Mutually, obviously. At the end of the day, we're a marriage. So at the end of the day, we kind of just like, hey, you know what? I didn't mean that, or I didn't mean this, or whatever the case is. But it's fine. It's fine. But I think it takes a certain individual to be able to live a life with somebody that is as competitive or as competitive as yourself.
And by all means, if she or you, but I say she because you said she was driven since day one, right?
Yeah.
But if she was with you for months, years, and sees like this dude's a lazy piece of shit, like I'm gonna leave his ass. Of course, she has every right to, right? Because like you said, you don't want to be an anchor, just like you don't want to find an anchor. Yes. You don't want to be the anchor.
Yeah.
And if you're the anchor to somebody's life, you're more of a burden than you are a help, right? So, well, that's cool, man. It's cool that you found yourself your significant other that's actually a power couple. You would say she's your couple. She's your power significant other. And I'm sure you guys are gonna make it pretty damn far. You already have. We'll get into this next step. I'm sure that also helped you take the leap, right? Like, what'd you think? Like when you went from property management, you had a pretty safe job and you made pretty decent money.
Yeah.
Were you at six figures yet?
No. I was not very close, but I was up there. I was making more money than the people who were around me. So I was 19? No, I was 18 years old when I first got into property management, and at the time I wasn't making much because I wasn't a property manager. And then later on, obviously with the promotions and everything, and then I got to manage multiple companies, multiple complexes. Then a little bit more money came up, but it wasn't like life changing. It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm set for life, I'm good. Some property managers don't make that much. Sometimes they even pay them just with an apartment and a little bit of salary. For me, it was different because they never offered me an apartment at first. They gave me my salary, then they gave me my apartment at the end of the day.
2018, the average salary in Bakersfield or Kern County was $40,000.
$40,000, yes.
Were you making a lot more than that?
I was making a little bit more than that. Yes, I was. And like I said, it wasn't anything to change your life. So at the time, we lived in an apartment. She was doing car sales. She wasn't even in car sales yet. She was working at retail. And from there, obviously, she quit that, and she's like, "Hey, what do you think about me going into car sales? Being a car saleswoman?" And obviously, we came to sell, so she had to take that leap as well. She had to quit her job, what she was doing, and went into sales.
You held it down when she took the leap, so she held it down when you took
Same thing as well. Yeah. So then from there, it was a little bit tough for me with going from a 9-to-5 job to having a set salary yearly. To have tomorrow not promised. So
for sure,
it was really hard for me at first, which I think that's the reason why I kept putting it in the back burner. As of maybe I'll do it later, and I think it's just the thought of not getting a paycheck. When you're used to getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. To not having a paycheck promise every 2 weeks is really scary from going to that.
Now, why exactly? Like, what was the exact moment other than your wife buying you the courses and stuff?
Yeah.
There had to be a moment before that where you said, like you said right now, it wasn't life-changing money what you were making, but you were making pretty decent income.
Yeah.
So it's very, very, very common, and it's also very easy to get comfortable there, right? To say like, well, fuck, I don't know how much you were making, but let's just say you were making more than the average, so let's call it 65. Is that pretty close?
Yeah, 55.
Okay, so 55,000
on property management, which is nothing.
No, but what I'm getting at though is that I know plenty of friends who have gone to college and have a bachelor's degree and don't make 55,000, right? So maybe now that inflation and stuff, right? Yeah. But I'm talking 2018. 2017. So around that time, you're making 55,000. It don't matter how old you are. That's good income, right? For our area.
Yeah.
And then, taking into consideration that at the time, houses were probably about 180, 175.
Yeah.
So you made pretty decent money. You can afford a decent house. You can have like the little extra stuff, like a nice car and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you realize that wasn't enough to change your life.
It wasn't, and I hit a place, I hit like a dead end. I wasn't growing anymore. There was no other promotions that I was looking forward to anymore. There was nothing because it was a smaller company. It was literally like two partners, two bankers. It was one of them was a banker, one of them was a real estate investor. They got together, they bought a bunch of different apartment complexes in Fresno, moved over to Bakersfield, branched to Bakersfield, and along the way they also bought properties. So they literally just started that small company that wasn't really big company. And I happened to grow with the business, but there wasn't nothing else left for me there. So there was no space for me to grow as a person or to take my talent to maximize whatever my full potential might be. So from there, that's when I started kind of browsing around. What else can I do? I went back to the subject of real estate. This is what I wanted to do in the first place. Why not do it now? So yeah, I just hit the dead end wall that I couldn't go anywhere else.
You kind of reached your ceiling, right?
Yeah, I know. Think of it like a bottle. I reached the top, the cap. They capped me. They literally capped me. They stopped for me to over.
Yeah. So. Yeah. That's good.
So we don't dive too deep into why real estate and blah 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 because everyone knows that real estate is a really good career.
Yeah.
But at 20 years old, we're talking what 2016?
No, 2013. 20 years old.
You were 20 years old in 2013.
2013.
Okay.
Yes.
So in 2013, you bought your first investment home.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
What drove you to that? What made you, like, most people at 20 years old are worried about going to the nightclub. What drove you to wanting to get your first investment home?
You know what? Just my parents had just bought a property I believe in 2010, 2011. And they were renting out a house, and I believe the rent at the time was $750. So they were paying $650, and then they went up like $100, and it was $750 in a month. So from there, I told my parents, I'm like, why not just buy a house? Again, when in 2010, that's when I graduated high school. So I had that thought of real estate in 2010. So, from seeing my parents to renting every single, year by year, it just kind of like put that thought into me. And I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, why not just get a house? Why not, instead of paying somebody else's mortgage, why not just buy a house yourself? So a year later, 2011, that's when they bought the house that they currently still have right now. So from the 2011, it was just implanted in my mind. It was just something that I wanted to potentially own a house as well, because I saw that their mortgage was like $625. So they actually ended up paying less money owning a house than paying for rent. So the thought for that of me, I was like, well, shit, I'm never gonna, get out of my parents' house and go rent. I might as well just go buy a house and just pay for the mortgage and just kind of live there. You know what I mean? So that was a thought that I had. So kind of like, I didn't really plan for it all along. I kind of just had an okay income coming in. So I was able to kind of manage a little bit of my expenses. So I kind of just set aside some money, and slowly, surely by not, I came up with the money to give me the opportunity to buy my first.
Coincidentally or not, you made an incredibly smart move at that age.
Oh yeah. Because the house, I think at the time when I bought the house, was $135,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So it was a really good property. It's still a great property in a great location. It definitely got a lot of equity now. And it was a great investment that I made at the time. So, I'm proud of that investment that I made early on.
Do you have a goal, let's say, like of total homes that you want to acquire to your portfolio?
Yeah. My goal, I think, before I retire, by the time I retire, I think I want to own 100 homes.
100.
I think 100 homes. I want to own 100 homes. Obviously, that's my goal. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to get to. I want that passive income. I think that to become really wealthy, you have to have different sources of income, different streams of income, and passive income is what's going to make you retire.
Yep.
Because you have that passive income. You're effortless. You don't have to put a lot of effort to it. You already have that established income, and it just keeps flowing in every single month. So
the ultimate goal in I think in anybody's life should be not to have to trade time for money anymore, right?
Yeah.
So if you can make the investments now, and honestly, dude, Albert Preciado preaches on this a lot. That buying and investing in homes isn't even as hard as it used to be anymore. The front. So it's not even as hard as it used to be anymore. So now you can literally buy a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex with 3.5% down, live in one of the units for a year, and then move out. And now you have four doors with 3.5% down. Like, do people not realize the immensity of this opportunity, right? 3.5% down of 400,000. If I do the math really fast, I want to say it's about like 17,500. If I'm not mistaken, something like that. Let's fact check that.
And it's crazy.
If I'm within $1,000, that's crazy.
Oh, you said a 400?
Yeah.
And you know what?
I was way off. 14,000. That's even better.
He preaches that a lot, and I think he says it in one of his podcasts or just posts, that he didn't want to marry his wife because he wanted her to get a fourplex
and then
an FHA and then himself, and then by the time they got married, they already owned 8 units. And
guys, if you can take anything out of this podcast,
take this.
Do not get married until both of you own a home.
Yeah.
Until both of you own a home, do not get married.
And if you can buy a fourplex,
dude. Honestly, I'm not messing. I'm not messing with single family no more. I know the areas where multi units are a little bit riskier, but they're also the most profitable, because if you buy it as for us, and the exception of Adrian, is it's a little harder now to get a multi unit because you're talking 15% down. At least,
and then the interest,
and then interest rates. But you're winning in every aspect. You're giving 3.5% down. Now, yes, you can't get the down payment assistance, but you're giving 3.5% down, and aside from that, you get the better owner occupied interest rate. So then, technically, you never have to refi that house unless you want to take the mortgage insurance off. But at the rate your interest rate is, you might keep it there. Yeah. Anyway, not to get too far into that topic, just guys, do not get married until you each own a house, because you will thank this episode 40 years from now, when you own a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex, a couple single family residences, and you're bringing in $30,000 a month passively, and you're no longer trading time for money, dude, that is real retirement. Stop listening to 401k bullshit. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but don't prioritize that. No. You know, if you look back at like the top 1% of the United States, and I think even the world, the one asset that they all have in common that they make the most money on, it's not the stocks, it's not anything else. It's real estate. Every single wealthy person in the world, well, in the 1% in the United States, their most, how would you say this? Like the asset they all share that they make the most money, the most profit on, the most passive income on is real estate.
Yeah.
So that's the easiest one to get started in too, because technically, to own a fourplex, you need 3.5% plus closing costs, whatever. And then now you own a $400,000 fourplex.
Yeah.
Right. To buy $400,000 of stocks, how much money do you need? $400,000. So you get what I'm saying? So that's how you get to leverage your money. But anyway, so you got into entrepreneurship not only through real estate. You also had a business almost right out of high school as well, right?
Yes.
And then you slowly transitioned out of it. Do you still kind of run your first business?
Slowly? No. We stopped it a long time ago. We kind of just outgrew that business and just kind of, we focus. Now I focus my time more on activities that are gonna make me highest return, which is real estate.
You want to tell people what that was really quick? What your first business was?
It was a photography business, photography and digital marketing. So I was doing a lot of digital marketing, logo design, and all that stuff. So I even.
Hey guys, was your beard defective?
It was
Yours had a hole?
Yeah, mine had a hole at the bottom.
Yeah, no. So it was just more digital marketing, a lot of digital marketing, and photography.
And then, did you learn that skill on your own?
Yeah. You know what? I took some classes. I took a class in high school, and I was doing more of like a little bit of marketing on college, but it wasn't nothing major. Everything that I learned doing that, I did it on my own. So I was just kind of self-taught.
Sick.
Which is amazing, and that's a little bit of advantage too. When I first got into real estate, also an advantage that I had because I wasn't out. They say you have to have certain amount of reserves for up to 6 months reserves whenever you quit. You quit your job, you go to real estate, 6 months reserves because you are expected not to make a paycheck within those 6 months, and it kind of just helped me out because obviously you have to spend money to advertise or to get out there and do designs, and that's an advantage that I had as well because I did my own designs, I did my own marketing, I did my own stuff, so I kind of just pushed myself, push my business through that way based on what I already have done.
That's good.
So becoming an entrepreneur. In every aspect, because you also now own a few businesses as well, right?
Yeah.
So becoming an entrepreneur in general, was it what you expected when you left your 9-to-5?
No. I didn't expect it to be the way that it is. Like I think when you look at businesses, a lot of people I see this from time to time. A lot of people look at business. I'm gonna start a business. Yes, I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna do this. I have a business. I'm a business owner. But it takes a lot more than that. It's not just going down to the city hall and registering your business and getting your LLC or whatever the case is. It's way more than that. It's being consistent with it. It's putting the time and effort and don't spend any return back right away. You know what I mean? So is that a bomb?
That's a bar.
That's a bar. Yeah. So don't a lot of people just want to get in the business, they waste up the money, then put it back in the business. You have to put it back in the business. Don't expect to make money right away and be profitable. It takes a lot of I think at the business I think you can take a loss in a business for 2 years, 3 years. I think you're expected to take a loss on a business and lose money.
Gustavo Garcia.
About time. Let me take a breather now.
No, that was nuggets, bro. That's the problem with society in general is everyone wants it easy, right? Everyone thinks that I'm gonna. Hey, and you know what? There's some people that really do just like a business just kind of falls on their lap, right? And I say that in the aspect of because you talk to some business owners and I wish I had this luck, right? But what some people have told me in the past is like, nah, dude, I did it on the side just for fun. Like I really like doing that shit. And then out of nowhere, it just blew up, right? And then my clientele just went through the roof. And then that's when it became my real business. That is badass, but I wonder what percentage of people actually get that luck, right? Most people,
but then I think with those kind of people is like the passion they have behind, like they absolutely love what they do and they keep doing it, and obviously they keep attracting that business. So it's because they love doing and the passion in the craft that made them, attract more business and become and outgrow their own business. But other people just kind of like something, or they see somebody else doing something they're doing, and they look at that guy, they look at Edgar. Edgar's doing this. Shit, he's making money. Maybe I can do it myself and make money. If he's making money, then I sure as hell make money as well. You know what I mean? And it's not like that.
Well, it is to a certain extent.
There's two routes to it.
Yeah, let me contradict you on that. It is, and I've always said this. If I see you doing good, and I'm not doing as good as you, I'm gonna ask what the hell you're doing and can I join? Right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's circumstances and stuff like that to it. But what I'm getting at though is that a lot of people see the beauty in it, right? So they'll look at our lifestyles now that we became entrepreneurs and at least to us, pretty successful ones, at least at where we're at right now. And it's easy for somebody to say like, well, he can do it. I can do it too. Yeah. Of course. Yes, you can. 1,000,000% you can do what I'm doing. But are you going to do what I'm doing?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I was trying to get to. Like, they don't know what you're doing in order for you to have the outcome that you're getting.
100%. Yeah, they think like, well, he became a car salesman, right? Whoever.
Yeah.
Like, he became a car salesman, so I'm gonna go be a car salesman.
Or I became an agent. I'm just gonna put my business card here in a picture, and people are gonna call me.
It is funny though that when I first got into the mortgage industry, that's what I thought, dude. Like I thought, like I'm gonna just post on social media that I became a loan officer.
Yeah.
And everyone and their moms is gonna hit me up for a loan.
Yeah.
And the world crashed on me really fast. It doesn't work that way.
He walked into his office and he looked at the phone and he kind of just sat there on the desk and just kind of any minutes to ring now.
Have you ever watched Better Call Saul?
No, I didn't get it.
You see that? You know that part where he puts his billboard up and he just sits in his office in front of his phone and he just waits for it to ring and it never rings. Yeah, no, but that's the thing though, that like. Now we talked about the negative, right? That you came into the business. Now I can talk to you in first person that you were smart, dude. You had the 6 months reserves, or if not more. You had the side money. You had like a perfect setup to leave your 9 to 5, to leave the traditional route, and join entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
Now, I didn't do that. I didn't do it that way. I was talking to Nacho about this the other day, where I just took a deep dive, bro. I dove into the deep end without knowing how to swim. That's literally what I did. And I don't recommend it to many people, but I damn well don't fucking regret it. I literally had very little money in my bank account. I had a very secure job too. That's what I'm getting at. That you were at the property management place for what, 6 years? We said just about
over 6 years.
Okay, over 6 years. See, I was at my job for a year and a half, and I was making $65,000, dude. And the reason that I bring that up is not to show off. What I'm getting at is, like, that is very freaking comfortable, right? And with 1.5 years, no college degree, like, all I was a people person and a hard worker. Well, if you're a people person and a hard worker, do not work a 9 to 5. You can literally sell anything, sell cars, sell anything, real estate, do whatever you have to do, but you will make better money when you're either on a business owner, or you sell something on a commission job. Now, why can't people handle commission jobs? Because you don't know your check is coming next week, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But when it does come, it's a lot bigger than the ones you would have gotten. See, I've recruited a lot of people into my business, and the first thing they say is like, "Oh, dude, it's just like, I don't know if I can go 2 months without making money." And I said, "Okay, well, then you probably won't work out because it's going to be a little more than 2 months." Oh, well, how long? Okay, 6 months. Damn, 6 months. See where I'm at right now. I can make in those 6 months $30,000.
Yeah.
I said, okay, do you know how much you can make here in 6 months if you really put the time, effort, and do what you're supposed to do? Well, how much? And then they're like, oh, well, and they don't see it, right? Like, it's hard to see it when you can't see it. That sounds funny, but it's true. Like, I can't promise you something because I can't promise you anything in commissions. You know that, right? Did you expect a salary when you jumped into entrepreneurship?
No, not at all. No, I mean, like I said, I was scared about it. I didn't. I didn't know what I was getting myself into at first. You know, I was kind of like you as well. You know, when you first came in here, you're waiting for the phone to ring. Me too. You know, I just posted a post. I'm like, hey guys, you know,
here, well, let's all cheers to here. Get this one. You finished that one already, right? No. Oh, you still have some?
Yeah.
Let's all cheers to leaving our 9 to 5s, guys, because I know for a fact that we're never gonna regret this decision.
Oh yeah, no. You know, like I said, I was just like you, man. I was just kind of posted my first post on Facebook and Instagram, and I was hoping
waited for the phone ring.
People to, you know, DM me. Of course, some people were like, you know, hey, you know, what's you doing real estate right now? How's the market? And I mean, first day in the freaking job, like, how's the market? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how the market is, but
and when you're first starting off, everything's exciting as hell.
Yeah.
You get like a phone call and you're like, oh hell yeah! You sit down in front of your desk ready to take notes.
I have a lead.
After a while, it's like, how's the market? I mean, it's the market. What do you want me to tell you about it?
I mean, how serious are you on buying? Because
hey, how's the market? Are you pre-qualified?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's definitely not meant for everybody. It's not meant for everybody. When it comes to sales, it's not for everybody. But it's a really big, rewarding but career. It's a really big reward. It has a high risk, but it also has a high reward behind it. So,
quote master over there. What's the quote for that? With what is it?
It don't stop.
Not you. No. That one's going down in the philosophy books. No. I'm saying there's something like that, right? With high, you said with high risk comes reward, but there's actually an actual quote for that, right? Something like that. No, I lost you guys. Sure. I lost you.
Yeah,
I thought Quote Master was gonna get me over here.
So it's around those lines.
I thought it was mine.
No.
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but things don't stop until someone stops. Gustavo Garcia.
Gustavo Garcia played it.
It's crazy.
No, yeah, man. But I think so. One of the main topics on this episode was going to be to influence people to leave what Bradley calls the rat race, right? I like calling it the traditional route, what we get taught in high school and what we get taught from our parents. By all means, I think all three of us sitting in this room right now are pretty, our parents are pretty proud of us. I want to say that they've already thought we've accomplished more than they thought we were going to accomplish. I know, Adrian, you were a little bit more of a black sheep in your family a little bit ago when it came down to like leaving that traditional, really good job.
Yeah, that's what I was about to chime in on it. In the beginning, my parents weren't too fond of the idea of me leaving everything that they came to the United States for, right? At least from the beginning. That's exactly the route they wanted me to follow.
What about the day you said, yeah, I can go on this vacation with you guys random days as long as you guys want?
Oh, they loved it.
Exactly.
They loved it.
What was the first thing your dad told you? Like,
no.
Whenever you told him at first, what was the first thing what was the first thing that came out of his mouth?
Wait, did this interview just switch sides?
Yeah, I think it's all about me now.
Hey,
let's talk about me for a second.
You looking for the second co-host? I'm here. I'm your guy. Put me in, coach.
I guess just quick backstory. I actually held it from my parents because I actually didn't want them to know. I actually wanted to make sure all the kind of the background work was done. I got my license. I joined a brokerage. I joined a team. I wanted to make sure all that was done before I told them, and I could be taking my test, and they can be calling me, "Hey, mijo, did you change your mind yet?" You know. Yeah. He's like, so I kind of didn't tell them until everything was kind of set in stone, and of course they were upset, but now I know I'm still very new into this, but I'm getting some traction. And I talk about it all the time. Like, I really love kind of what I'm doing. So you're telling me that I can, just meet new people, establish new connections, help them accomplish a goal and then get paid. So. Well,
see, here's the thing too, dude. That you're in a perfect situation as well. And the reason, not to like say I wasn't, but I wasn't. My wife was pregnant. I had just. My wife was pregnant. I quit my job, had very little reserves, if any, had high overhead. And I just said, fuck it. Like, my mentality has always been, what's the worst that can happen? So I was born with nothing. The worst that's going to happen is I go bankrupt and foreclose and I'm left with nothing. That's how I was born, right? So I can just start over. That's the beauty of this country. You go bankrupt and you just start from zero. Right.
And like it's kind of what Jim Rohn says, right? The price to pay for the price of regret weighs weighs tons.
Yeah.
So it's like for you, and it's like I think that battle we have to have in our head all the time is, okay, what's gonna hurt worse, me not living up to my dreams and expectations, or me kind of like settling.
Yeah, well, not living to your full potential is doing a disservice to your family, especially whenever you're the breadwinner at home, right? Whether you are or not. But see, here's a conversation that I had to have with my wife, and I'll talk about this real fast, and we'll get back to your story. Was okay, fine. I want you to stay home until I can't handle it anymore. If one day I come to you and say, babe, sorry, but I just can't do it anymore, you're gonna have to go back to work. I don't want any I don't want you to say, no, I'm not ready or nothing. We're gonna find babysitters. We're gonna do what we have to do. But for right now, my mission is to make as much money as I can for as long as I can. And the day that I cannot, I expect you to have my back, right? One thing that I was actually going to post the other day, but I held back because I know the feedback I'm going to get isn't going to be good, was what was it? I have it right here. Let me look at it. I made it up. This is a quote. So
I'm like, be careful.
You're going to quote Edgar Perez at the bottom of this. Don't spend less, make more. So that's like, if you had to say what's my one quote, it's don't spend less. Stop talking about.
Let's go get another fucking cell,
dude. I hate it so much, and you see it right now more than ever, right? These people that are just flukes, dude. That on social media paint this image of I'm the most successful motherfucker alive, but then you really know who they are, and they're cutting back expenses, and they're selling this, and they're selling that, and whatever, dude. Stop being a pussy and just go make more money. Like I know it sounds arrogant, but it's the truth. Like. I have many people that I've talked to, and this is at whatever income level you want to talk about. You want to talk about 50,000 a year, 100, or $1 million. I know someone in every bracket, right? Yeah. And every single bracket says, dude, whenever I need money, I just go sell something else, or not in regards to I sell my car. If not, okay, if I'm a car salesman, well, shit, things are getting tough. Now I got to sell 2 more cars a month. Oh shit, we got a pay deduction in our commissions. Okay, well now I got to sell 2 more units a month, right? Versus shit. Now now it's gonna get harder to close deals, so let me cut back on my overhead. Fuck that.
Yeah.
What are you gonna cut back on your overhead for? Just make more money. It's not the end of the world, dude. I think it's been podcasts though. Everyone talks about reading books, and I'm not saying reading books isn't a good thing. You need to read books, right? That's how people get more intelligent. But I listen to podcasts a lot, and I listen to people like Joe Rogan, PBD, Bradley. I've been listening to Ed Milet a lot, Andy Frisella. And the one thing that I think all of them have in common is that they're all millionaires, right? And all of them say that being a millionaire is not that hard, right? Obviously, well, they're now probably close to billionaires. But now when they say making $1 million isn't even really that hard, right? And then you say that around our friends, and they're like, you're an arrogant piece of shit. You're just, what the fuck, $1 million is a lot of money. Even $100,000 is a lot of money. It is when you're working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
See, and I think everyone needs kind of that friend like Edgar to be like, all right, you need more money? We'll go out and fucking make it, right?
Yeah, and that hurts people's feelings though. It really does. And
I don't think it hurts their feelings, but it's like it can come off as like, oh, Edgar's fucking arrogant, or like, hey, well, just step back a little bit because
so calm down.
Maybe I am overspending or some shit, right? But at the end of the day, it's like I understand your viewpoint.
And whenever I say cutting my overhead, I don't mean like on your first sale, go blow that shit and go get a bunch of debt. No, but I'm saying I've been doing what I do for at least 2 years, and I've been making the same amount of income for about 2 years. What does a mortgage take into consideration for income? 2 years average income, right? So if my 2-year average income is X amount, I can live off percentages of that. And now let's say 2 years later, it gets harder, right? So when I keep talking about it getting harder, let's talk about real estate, right? Our ratios for a long time here at the office was 11 to 1. You got to talk to 11 clients to pre-qualify one. For you guys, it means, I got to send this dude 11 leads in order for one of them to be pre-approved. Then we get those into escrow, whatever. That other number is a whole different conversation about how many pre-approved get to escrow. But what I'm getting at, though, is that right now, it's probably still 11 to 1. Just getting those 11 is a little bit harder, right? So getting those 11 leads is harder than it was 8 months ago, okay? So what does that mean? Shit, well, let me cut back because Adrian's not sending me 11 leads anymore. No, it means, hey, Adrian, what can me and you do to keep generating what we were generating back then. Oh, well, it's hard right now. I know it's hard. That's why I'm here sitting with you to try to game plan to make it so that we're still making the same amount of money, right? And then you have the conservative minds that say, no, that's fucking stupid. You got to cut back. Business is slow. No. And reinvent yourself. I think that's one of the worst things that people say. And you guys might not agree with me on that, but I hate when people say, just reinvent yourself. No, fuck that. I am who I am, right? My style of business is who I am. And that I will hold my ground to that as to don't spend less, just make more. I'll hold my ground to that because I've always lived that way. Different income brackets, right? We'll go back to that. You think I always made what I make right now? No, not even fucking 3 years ago. I was making nothing near this, right? But at the time, my mindset was the same thing. Okay, I had my group at the time. So, okay, if I'm going to get a new car, well, shit, now I got to hit 3 gigs instead of 2 this weekend. And I made it happen, right? So don't. I hate when people come at me with this because you haven't struggled. Yeah, fucking right. People don't know that. So I don't know. I went on a little rampage on that. It just really irritates me that people are so soft now, dude. Like, there's so many flukes out there on social media acting like they're these big inspirations, and people actually believe it is the worst part. But yeah, so
I believe it.
Yeah, you do. I don't even know where we fucking left off. But I'm gonna give myself a little fucking bomb on that bitch.
Give yourself a little clap. Give yourself a clap. At the end of the day, I mean, I understand. I guess I'm the messenger guy. I'm trying to dilute what you just said or break down, But it just find what motivates you. Find your fucking, like you say, your motto, and just run with it. Right, Gus? Now since we talk about motto, what's your motto, Gus? What's your motto to life?
You only live once. That's the motto. YOLO.
Just become the better version of yourself every day by day. I feel like everything in life,
1% better.
I feel like in life, you're always chasing to become. Well, I mean, at least for myself, it's always I want to become a better person next year. Next year, I want to look back and be like I was better than I was last year, or every single day, and kind of bring that down and cut it down into day by day. So just become better, and when you become better, you attract more things in life. Obviously, if you're healthier, if you're wealthier, life gets easier by that. So I think just become a better version of yourself, and that's gonna solve a lot of problems in your life.
Yep.
So.
Let's go, baby. I think when you get some feedback, if we like that bar, but I think it's
you don't like it.
I think it's alright.
It's cool.
It's not dramatic enough. I want like a,
I like the little kind of makes it like
Cute.
Yeah.
It's very like subtle though.
I
think it's cute, but anyways.
Well, I didn't want it to be a bomb.
It can't be a bomb.
We
know why it can't be a bomb.
It can't be a bomb.
Yeah.
Good old Brad. I'm gonna be on this fucking podcast. Watch.
What is it?
You should.
Which is
I hope so.
bombs.
Yeah. Today I was actually. So I just hired we're kind of done with the interview in a sense. Gus, you got anything else that you want to kind of throw out there? From a 1 to 10, how bad do you how high do you put the recommendation of somebody leaving their 9-to-5 traditional job and following their dreams? And that's in general, right? I'm not saying leave your job that's 9-to-5, but if you're not genuinely happy, that's what I mean by that. But
trust your gut 100%. 1,000 times that I condone that. Like, do it, just do it. What's the worst that can happen? You get set back a little bit, just get you back up and do it all over again. But just don't live with that regret. Don't live a life with what could have been. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna look back in life and be like, man, what if I would have taken that leap of faith? What if I would have quit and I would have went there and made something for myself? So just freaking do it. I think that's do it. So that's just what I leave everybody with. That is it. Just don't live life with regrets, man. It's really. I don't really like I said before to you guys, I don't regret anything in my life. I think that everything just kind of makes the person who you are today. Never regret anything you do. You did it for a purpose, for a reason. So just leave it, take that leap of faith, and you're gonna become more happier. When I was doing property management, I went into a dark kind of side of in my life. It was just I was more depressed. I was more like I was living in an apartment complex, and people would come and knock at my door. I would leave to the store. I would come back. I would go to lunch. I would come back upstairs. So I was upstairs from my office. So I would go to lunch upstairs, come back inside. then leave to the store, then come back inside.
A routine, just pretty much a routine.
A routine, and I would leave to the store to Bakersfield, and because I had an apartment in Lamont, and I would go back into the apartment complex. It's like driving back into work every single day. So I went to this dark place, not dark place, but I went to this place of like, shit, I'm tired with this, So by me leaving there, I became much happier. I'm way much happier with who I was before. So I'm pretty sure that if you're going through something like this, if you're not happy with the life you're living right now, just work on something that you want to become.
And
Love that, bro.
And trust me, and Adrian, you can touch on this. You can let me know what you think on what I'm about to say. But sometimes you might not even realize that you're not happy, right? Relationships, that happens a lot of times where you think you're happy as hell, and then
it becomes a routine.
Yeah, something happens to where you're not doing anything that's making you guys fun anymore, right? So now, and also in life, like, you don't realize you're unhappy, but you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think being comfortable really leads to unhappiness.
And being comfortable is a really bad place.
It's a disease, dude. It's the enemy of progress.
What do they call it? A no man's zone, or like you don't want comfortable is a no man's zone. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be there because that's the worst place to be.
Yeah, comfort is the enemy of progress, and progress is the way to success, right? So why in the hell would I want to be comfortable, dude? Like, I have a salary of whatever it is, dude. Like, I mean, I know people that have salaries of $250,000 a year. That's a really good salary.
Yeah.
But they work 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like, do you really want to work 18 hours a day, even if you're making $250,000? And if you are, you're probably pretty damn intelligent to have a salary of $250,000.
Yeah.
Right. So go find a easier way to make that. Right. But society in general, the system that we are born into, it plays us to that, right? Like the traditional route. Why? Because business owners become more intelligent a lot of times. They become more into what's wrong with the system in general, right? I'm not making it political. I'm just saying in general, the way we pay taxes and stuff like that. So that's why the system shuts us down to just stay in the traditional route, pushes that agenda in high school. You get put. How come you don't get taught how to file your taxes in high school?
Not just that. How come you don't get taught how to establish your credit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think that's a
much,
huge one. That's a huge one.
But
there's so much
A1 plus B2 equals C3 though.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Like what?
You guys don't remember that?
Yeah.
What's the square root, or what was it? What's the pi of? I don't know what the fuck. It's like I haven't used that damn formula ever in my life.
Teach that freaking 17 years old that's gonna about to graduate. Teach them how to establish their credit so that they don't get in debt. Compound interest can be a bitch, honestly, for a lot of people that get into, they get reeled into that.
It's a debt.
Exactly, and how can you avoid that? Just teaching them in high school. But then again, we can get deeper into another subject that, but
yeah.
Why is the educational system the way it is, and who's behind this educational system, and what are the purpose and all that stuff. But
there's a purpose to it, all right.
Topic, yeah.
If they taught us how to open a business, a lot more people would be successful.
Yeah.
And then that would fuck up their agenda, right? So, without getting too far into that conversation, that's just why you kind of have to look at somebody. So I say this, I've said this in the past, and I actually got some negative feedback from this. But see, like, if I don't go to my parents for much advice sometimes, I do for like moral and stuff like that, or like problems and life advice.
Yeah.
But business advice, I don't go to my parents. Why? Because they don't know about running a business, right? That's not bad of them. They just got here. They work their jobs. They now own their house. They're pretty close to retirement, and they played their role in life.
And I think that's something that he kind of took, that same concept of not telling his parents about, what do you think about me quitting my job to go into sales and Tomorrow's Not Promised? You kind of just took that upon yourself and the people that were around you, the influence, your decision, and then you let them know. And I think that is kind of gonna connected to what you're saying, that you're not gonna go to them to advice because that's something they don't understand. They don't understand business or entrepreneurship and sales, that they pay a lot better than the 9-to-5 job that they're used to.
Well, what I meant by that, it was like, I'm gonna listen to somebody who's done what. So My parents can teach me on how to work the jobs they've worked.
Yeah.
They can teach me on buying a house and paying it off. They can teach me on being smart financially, right? But they can't teach me on how to become a salesperson. They cannot teach me on how to make my first $1 million. They cannot teach me how to buy, invest, and sell and flip real estate because they've never done it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just that same rule of thumb is you want to learn from someone who's successful in that area, right? Or you're going to take advice from someone who has accomplished something in that area.
Exactly. So like if I want to invest, if I want to do anything, if I want to change.
Are you referring to something in particular?
Me?
Okay.
Oh, he's like,
The rule of thumb. Yeah, but see, like, and that's the thing that many people can't accept that. Like, I don't know why it makes me so. I don't even know what the word is. I know what word I want to use, but I'm not going to use it because I always talk shit about that word.
because people are just so quick to like assume what they think you're talking about. I don't think they're really understanding it. Like, I think they just get triggered. Like, what do you mean you're not gonna?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're not gonna learn from your parents?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing.
Of course,
those are the kind of soft people that in life that are just always gonna work their 9 to 5 and think that you're a arrogant piece of shit for making more money. People make it seem like having money or saying I have money is a bad thing. Like, dude, if someone walks in my office right now or into the studio and says, "Hey, dude, I fucking made $5 million last month," do you think I'm gonna be like, "You fucking arrogant piece of shit"? Like, oh, why'd you come in here showing that shit off? I'm like, damn, fool, what'd you do? Show me how you did it. Maybe, hey, you want to partner? That's the kind of person I am. And I want to say a big majority of the people we hung around with when we were younger aren't that kind of person. They're the kind of person that when they hear this podcast and say, you hear Edgar talking about how much money he makes, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's what they're going to be thinking. Versus like, damn, dude, have you realized how much Edgar has changed his life around? And he keeps saying that he wants to bring people with him. Maybe I should hit him up, right?
Yeah.
That's what's fucking crazy to me.
Well, people play the victim part a lot, and I think
it's easier to be a victim.
Yeah. So I think that's why that's what it is. A lot of people play the victim part, and it's like, you know, they look at you. Oh, you're making this much money. Oh, you know, fuck him, fuck this, or do this. You know, they feel victimized by what life, how it has treated them.
Yeah,
Yes, for sure.
and honestly, I don't blame it on it because, you know, we all have the opportunity to change and, you know, have a different belief system than our parents and all this stuff. But do you guys think it's a little bit kind of tied into our culture? I guess kind of like our parents' backgrounds?
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Like that. I'm telling you, dude, I have friends that literally will go to their mom for advice on what car they should buy. Or, Mom, what do you think? Should I buy this car? Well, she's either going to tell you, yeah, son, do it because you deserve it. Or, no, that's another bill. When will they say, well, what's the payment? How much money do you make? Like, is that going to be an overhead that's going to fuck with your plans for the future? Your mom's not really going to tell. I mean, there's
do you
very
want to buy
few.
a house in the next
there's
6
very
months,
few. There's
you know?
very few people, very few parents in our generation, or at least in our culture, that will have that conversation with their son. Most of them will say that exactly what I said. You deserve that car. Definitely, son. I fucking love you. You're the most beautiful thing in the world. Or they'll say, no, that you don't want to take that bill. Go buy a used one that you can buy cash. You don't want to get into debt. Well, you need to learn how to leverage debt and use it in your favor, right? That's one thing that I've been learning a lot. That's why I don't listen to, what's his dumbass name, the fucking idiot that says, you don't finance a car, you pay it off cash.
Hey, Ramsey?
Yeah, that dumbass. I don't like him. He's an idiot. But anyway, yeah, so it just, culture plays a huge role in that. And some people can't unbreak from there. Like they can't just like, separate themselves.
That's what I was gonna say. It comes to a point where you can't kind of rely on your parents. Like,
You know-
it's up to you to, to learn new stuff and adapt that mindset.
Yeah, it's your job to
and
retire
break away
then.
from it. Yeah.
There's a book.
Did you hear what I said?
No, not really.
I said, yeah, it's your job to retire them.
There's a book that touches a lot into that. It's called
That is good.
The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and it talks a lot about our upbringings and our roots. And I think that if anybody's trying to have a different perspective of how to not become just a millionaire, but just becoming a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more income, read this book, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. It's a great book. It just tells you about how your mind is trained to subconsciously do things a certain way because of your upbringings. So
So on that same subject, I really recommend the book as well, The Power of One More, with Ed Milet.
I haven't read it yet.
Dude, I didn't read. I don't like reading. I got the audiobook.
Audiobook?
Yeah, but my vision's fucked up, dude. So when I concentrate too much on something, it makes my head hurt. So it's not like, oh, I hate reading. It's just like I can't read, so I have to.
So your vision's fucked up. So,
yeah. Wear my glasses.
So whenever you look at
TikTok?
sports stats,
yeah, that's why.
Whenever you
I
listen
get
to
lost.
sports,
Especially.
Yeah, that's why I get lost.
He's like, what's that? What's that you guys talking about?
No, but
hey, so next time
And
the
then
argument,
somehow-
next time the argument comes up, just be like, Edgar, where's your glasses?
Those are your glasses. Edgar, listen to the audio version because
no, but
somehow Dak's 16, but he moved up to like 5.
anyway, yeah, the Power One More, dude. It really gave me a vision of where I want to go in life. He talks about being the one. Have you read it or no?
Which one?
The Power of One More.
No,
Ed Milet. So he talks about being the one. He's saying that every single rich family in history has had the one person that changed the trajectory of their lives and the rest of them, right? Like nobody was born rich, right? It took a certain individual to
be the one
to get wealthy, and then he gave generational wealth to the rest of them.
Yeah.
Right.
It took a Rockefeller. It took a
Yeah. So what he's saying is, in his family, he's the one, right? Like he's the one that changed the trajectory of the family. And I'm sure in our ancestors' history, there's already a one that like took them from literally nothing to what we have now. But I don't think anybody, well, not anybody, but at least in the immediate family, has hit millions, right? Or has hit a million or multiple millions. And not to say that like, oh, my brother can't, but I want to really, really, really take the role of being the one.
So is it a race between you and your brother?
No, not at all. If anything, we can be the two.
Why not? or why
The
not?
two.
Just bring the competitive side.
Yeah,
from both of you
yeah.
guys,
Well, you know, we were talking.
Jose, if you're watching this, which I hope you are, there's a challenge for you. First one to become a millionaire. Owes the other one $1 million.
Nah, so we were talking about that with Nacho the other day. We're like, let's say we do make it a competition, and we're like, well, let's see who can hit $1 million first. The worst that's gonna happen is one of us is gonna land that 800,000, and then hey, fuck it. I'd rather have 800,000 than nothing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that book really, 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 I think that was what sparked. Like if someone kind of told me like, what was the one thing you read? It had to be that book. Because he literally talks about that. Like, dude, I was in the gutter. I was nothing. My dad was a drunk, and you know, my dad wasn't a drunk, but I'm saying Ed Milet.
Yeah. His story's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. And he talks about that, and it really, like, really got to me. We're like, shit, like we're right. I don't think we've had the one. And if I become the one, I could only imagine like the life that Nathan's gonna have, and then his kids, and if I have any other kids, their kids, you know. And that's kind of what it's about, right? Like. Everyone's living the moment, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, live the moment, but also see the future. Like I had a hard time finding this spot in life where, and just to be clear, guys, this wasn't really an interview with Gus. It was just like he's a guest here. That's why I'm talking a lot, but because this is kind of the subject that we wanted to focus on, was kind of influencing people to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Right. Life is way too wonderful, and God is just way too amazing. If you believe in God or whatever higher power you believe in, they didn't bring you to this life to be average, right? No. Being average is very bad in my perspective. Like, dude,
well, being average is very easy.
Anyone can be average.
Yeah,
anyone can be average, right? And it don't even take that much to not be average.
Yeah.
Like when you talk about like how much time it takes or how much money it takes, dude, none of us sitting in this room were born with not even $50,000 in our bank account, right? My parents haven't they've given me a house, they've given me life and stuff like that. But I'm saying like when I left my mom's house, they didn't give me even 20 grand, like here, to get yourself started, right? I don't think.
Or we ain't trust babies, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm getting at though is that when people play that victims, like, well, fuck, I'm broke and I'm in debt, and like, you don't think I was there, dude? I left my job. I had more debt than you'll ever imagine, dude. When I left my job, my secure job, to become an entrepreneur, I was in a fucked up, shitty, very bad spot, dude. Like, we'll bring it to light. I don't give a fuck. I had 2 personal loans of over $20,000. What did I owe? I have no idea. Right? Like I literally, it was 2 times that I got out of debt. So like debt consolidation loans, twice. So I owed 40 grand. I had a truck payment. I had a car payment. And I had rent or a mortgage. So easy to say, my overhead was high as hell, right? 2 years later, a month later, I leave my job. I'm broke. I still have those. That didn't just go away, right? And safe to say, blessed to say that today, I'm not there anymore. I got out of debt. Aside from the loans I had, I owed people money. And I think owing people money is a lot worse than owing a bank money. Because you got to hide from people. When you go out to have dinner, you have to like put your head down and stuff. And dude, now I rock my head as high as you can fucking think of. And it's not because I'm an arrogant piece of shit. It's because I was at that dark spot that nobody, I want to say probably none of my friends have been in, right? But it's too risky for them, right? And that's what I don't understand. It's like, dude, I doubt you were in a worse spot than I was 3 years ago. I really, really doubt it, right? And I took the leap, and I made it happen. It didn't just happen. I could have failed, but failure wasn't an option to me, right? I made it fucking happen because I did it for a reason. It goes back to what we were talking about the day of just me and you. I told you, don't be too naive into like, I have to make it as a lender, or I have to make it as a insurance agent, or I have to make it as a real estate agent. Like I chose that path and I have to make it as no, you don't. You just have to be successful. Whatever route it takes you, being a realtor might direct you to your next path. And that path will direct you to the next path. And that path will take you to your ultimate end goal, right?
Might be the vehicle that
exactly
gets you there, yeah.
Yeah, or the money that is going to allow you to be like, maybe you're passionate about something else and you use real estate money to get you to that vehicle to do ultimately what you really love to do.
Yeah, and see, and so like, okay, so here we'll go back to the topic of people saying like, well, hey, you got to take advantage because right now isn't a bunch of realtors are quitting. Fucking, they didn't make it. It was easy the last 2 years. Well, no shit.
Yeah,
it was easy the last 2 years, and it's whack now. And people have bills, dude. Like, stop shaming upon people that left the business or that are leaving the business, right? Like, why is it shame on you? Now, if you left the business and you went back to a 9-to-5, then shame on you, right? You should have been smart enough to save up money and make a better decision. What I'm getting at, though, is if you were a realtor in the last 2 years, you were booming, shit hit the fan right now, and you're leaving the business, I don't shame you as long as you found an alternative that kept you as an entrepreneur, right? Or you make more money now than you were making before. And this might be biased to my situations, but the reason that I say that is because, again, this has been my mindset since I was like 16 years old. Dude, I used to sell fucking hot dogs at 13 years old. You can fact check me. You could call my mom. At the remate, I would sell hot dogs. Dude, who the fuck was working at 13? It was 12 years old. Actually, younger. I was in 8th grade. How old are you in 8th grade? 12?
12.
I was 12 years old. At the remate, I would go into work to the house where we would prep everything at 4 a.m. on a Saturday.
Oh shit,
dude! 4 a.m. on a Saturday, we would prep everything, cook everything, whatever.
Who would you sell? Who would you sell with?
His name was Ramon. You remember Weenie Express?
Yeah.
And his brother had a Super Weenie in Lamont.
yeah. I think that's one of the first.
The mobile. They were the mobile one. They were the first ones. Yeah. So huge shout out to Ramon. I mean, like, he would go sell by my house, and then one day I was like, "Hey, dude, I want money. Like, you hire?" He's like, "Yeah, but not," because I wanted to just cruise it with him in Harvard and stuff. He's like, "Nah, I'm hiring for that, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I go to the remate. You want to go with me those days?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude." He would pay me little to nothing, right? It was this. We're talking about 2008 ish. I'm 12 years old. He would give me $60 a day. Now, when you look back at it, it's probably free child labor, get sued or something. But but at the time, it was like $60 in 3 days.
I hope he doesn't run for office because then he's just gonna fucking backtrack.
$180 a weekend as an 8th grader. I was like, dude, I'm fucking living the life.
You're doing it,
right? But that comes to show you the mindset I had since I was a little kid, right? Yeah. So okay, I guess we don't want to talk about being born with money, but hey, my parents instilled this fucking amazing mindset to me, and that's one of my biggest.
We all have the 24 hours in the same day. We all have the same minutes to every hour. So it's what you make out of it. Is where you spend your time, and I feel with time, there's a lot of energy that people have, and I talk about this. It's like it's where you invest your energy in. And I think that everybody has the same, time, energy, and it just matters, and it makes a big difference where you spend it.
For sure, yeah. So, you know what? We'll go ahead and end on this. I mean, I have one last thing I do kind of want to touch on briefly is if you were, so let's just say for whatever reason, and this is one of those questions that you were asking at the end. If for whatever reason real estate was to not be a thing anymore, right? Like people could just buy houses online, which I don't see
on Zillow.com.
Which, hey, that's probably the future, to be honest with you. But anyway, let's just say that tomorrow, boom, everybody's buying on Zillow, no more commissions and whatever.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself?
Well, for one, I don't see myself going back to a 9-to-5 job for sure. I feel like once you go to a commission-based job career, you kind of snap, you rip away from that from a 9-to-5. So I see myself doing sales. I mean, I whatever, like I said, I don't see this happening anytime soon. So whatever the time comes, whatever the time is, then I can kind of see my options of like where can I take my people skills, my sales skills, and where can I succeed. So, but definitely not a 9-to-5. Just back to sales.
No, but you don't have a certain like. Right now, top of your head, like this is what I would do.
Right now, maybe life insurance. And the reason why life insurance is because I feel like it's really not. A lot of people don't take this into big consideration. Like, a lot of people kind of insure their phones and their cars and their houses and everything, but they never really want to insure their life, which is crazy to me. And I think life insurance, and I think, me having the database that I have right now with people trust me with the biggest investment, the biggest purchase of their life, buying a house. I think that going into like life insurance and some of life insurance to protect their asset, I think that that's a big thing that would really exceed in.
For sure. Adrian, any final thoughts?
Gus?
No, I said Adrian. Any final thoughts? you're thinking about Gus.
I was gonna ask him a question, but
what's up?
No, I think we're good. Final thoughts.
Say it with your chest.
No, guys. Well, just at the end of the day, I mean, whatever opportunity is in front of you, like Edgar said, even if you feel like now you're happy and you're successful in what you're doing, and that's also good. We're not talking down anybody that's happy and in a job right out of college. If you're happy and that's what you love doing, and also do it. But yeah, any risk that you want to take, kind of take it as for me. It's been one of the best decisions that I've made, and I'm in this for the long run. So, yeah.
Well, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you like what we talked about, we're doing this on a weekly basis. Go ahead and send this over to your friends and subscribe. Thank you guys.